Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about a decision taken by the Commerce Ministry of India where it has decided to impose anti-dumping duty on 5 of the Chinese products. So in this video, we are going to discuss in details what is anti-dumping duty, who in India determines whether anti-dumping duties should be imposed or not, what is the criteria for imposition of such duties and how it impacts the overall manufacturing or economy of the particular nation. So let us try to understand this in more detail. So first of all, to give you the idea of this particular news, India has imposed ADD on 5 Chinese goods that include vacuum flasks as well as aluminium foil. The main reason behind the imposition of such duty is largely to protect the domestic producers, domestic players, because if uncontrolled import will enter into the India, obviously domestic producers will lose their competitiveness and they will lose the market share. So this is something that we have been witnessed from China and other neighboring countries as well. So apart from the vacuum flask and aluminium foil, the other products that is targeted in this particular decision of the Commerce Ministry is soft ferrite cores, a certain thickness of vacuum insulated flask as we discussed, Trichloro Isocyanuric acid and polyvinyl chloride PVC paste resin. So these are the products on which ADD has been imposed. The reason behind this is because all these 5 products were being exported to India from China at below normal prices, and that is why to protect the domestic producer the decision has been taken. Now if you look at the details of the duty that is being imposed here, first of all if you look at the organization, that is the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, working overall under the command and control of Ministry of Commerce of India. So it has stated that the duty which is being imposed on these goods will remain valid for a period of 5 years, and in some goods it will valid for a period of only 6 months. If you look at the amount of duties that is being imposed here, so in the case of aluminium foil, the duty, the anti-dumping duty that we are talking about will be valid for 6 months and the duty is $873 per ton. If we talk about the acid treatment chemical, on this the duty will be $276 per ton to $986 per ton depending on the concentration and grade of the acid. Then if we talk about the soft ferrite cores, this is very important because it is used in sectors such as electric vehicles, chargers and telecom devices. Up to 35% duty on the cost, insurance and freight value can be imposed by the government, and vacuum insulation flask will have a duty of $1,700 per ton, and PVC paste resin will have anywhere between $89 per ton to $707 per ton. Now why this variation? Because for this particular goods, the duty is not only being imposed on China but other countries such as South Korea, Malaysia, Norway, Taiwan and Thailand also is from where cheap imports or cheap export we can say were flowing into India. So to control that, the duty has been imposed upon them. So this is the 5 major goods on which the anti-dumping duty have been levied. Now let us try to understand what do we mean by the term anti-dumping duty. In simple term, we can define it as a kind of protectionist measures. When talk about the protectionist measure, it refers to a condition where a government try to protect the domestic producers, domestic what you can call as the players from the competitiveness, or to ensure that they do not lose their competitiveness along with the what you can call as the international players. So a protectionist tariff that government places on imports thought to be significantly underpriced. Let us try to understand this with an example. Now suppose there is a country A that manufactures a toy car at a total value of $75. Now that is something where we are talking about the domestic country that we can take an example. Then there is another country B that produces exact same car, toy car, but at a very low value of just $50. Now suppose if the government of the country A allows the particular toy car originating from country B to enter into their territory without any restriction, obviously what will happen? All the toy car producers who are producing here at $75, they will lose their competitiveness, because obviously for the same product people will be paying $50 and will be taking up or consuming the toy car from this particular country. So to ensure that there is no such unfair kind of advantage that the importers are enjoying, government can then decide to impose additional tax on the imported goods, specifically when they are being sold below their market price. So in this context, to ensure that both domestic players and international players enjoy a level playing field, the government of country A can impose an anti-dumping duty on country B of $25. So now when $25 of anti-dumping duty is being imposed, the value of car being brought into the country A from country B will also be 75, domestic producer will also be 75. So that is what we are talking about, is creating a level playing field. So that is what we have to understand here, the reason or rationale behind anti-dumping duty. Now before moving further, I would try to bring your attention to a new batch that we are going to very soon start in the Legacy IAS Academy, that is on the 17th of April 2025. This is a weekday regular batch. The classes will be held every day between Monday to Friday. In two sessions. The first session will be in the morning between 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Second session will be 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Now apart from that, extra sessions can also be arranged on Saturday and Sunday on a discretion basis. Now not only that you will be having access to the classes, but as soon as we start the class, you will also be having a frequent class test on a weekly basis right from the beginning. So you can understand that where you are faltering, which area, which subjects is where you can focus or where you have to focus more upon, because that will obviously depend on individual to individual. Not only that, we will be focusing upon making sure that you have a comprehensive preparation of the UPSC Civil Services examination, and for that in the beginning we will lay a solid foundation by ensuring that you have NCERT classes. Once the foundation is formed, then we will further have classes related to the advanced this part of the syllabus. Not only that, we will also be providing you a mentorship, personal mentorship, one-to-one session if you have any doubts. Also apart from that, you will have access to the mains comprehensive answer writing practice, and also will ensure that the last stage of the civil services examination, that is personality test, for that also you have a solid guidance and solid preparation. So you can enroll in the April 17th. We have a strict policy of 40 students per batch. So if you miss a chance of enrolling in 17th April batch, then the next batch will be having on the 12th May 2025. So then you can enroll there as well. Now for those of you who are trying to prepare for this examination, as we know that it is a very competitive exam, for those of you who are preparing along with work, for them or for working students, working professionals basically we can say, we also have weekend classes where you will have full day class on Saturday and Sunday between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The structure of the course and all the facilities that the weekday students have will be provided exactly to you as well, and that batch is going to start on April 19th, 2025. Now in the last, for those of you who are writing prelims examination 2025, for them we have arranged a free all India prelims mock test. There you can enroll on our test platform, that is elearn.legacyas.com. You can enroll and then you can give and attempt the free test. Based on the result, then you can finally try to gauge that where you are faltering, which subjects you have to focus more upon, what are the kind of mistakes that you are making while you are attempting the question papers, and also you can then check your progress comprehensively. So if you want to know more about the details of the test or any of the programs that we have mentioned, you can call at this particular number 96069 00004 and 05. Now coming back to this particular topic, as we have discussed, the India imposed an anti-dumping duty on several goods originating from China and even from some other countries as well. In this regard, when you talk about the imposition of duties, it is not done randomly. Before that, you have a proper research that is being conducted, and the recommendations that is given by the Directorate General of Trade Remedies, also called as DGTR, working overall under the command and control of Ministry of Commerce and Industries. It is a responsibility of DGTR to then recommend that which products should be brought under the anti-dumping duties and what should be the value of these duties on different products. So a probe is conducted by countries to determine whether domestic industries have been hurt due to a surge in cheap imports or not. Now this is a very important point to understand. Just because the import volume or value has suddenly increased for a certain product, it does not necessarily, we can say, results into the imposition of anti-dumping duties. There has to be a clear-cut relation that the surge in cheap import from a particular country has hurt the domestic industries, domestic producers and domestic manufacturers. Once it is established, then further probe can be conducted. Now, as a countermeasure, these duties are imposed under the multilateral regime of Geneva-based WTO, as we have discussed, which is trying to establish a rule-based international trading system, and it also ensures fair trading practices and create a level playing field, as we discussed before. Now, many times a question can come that whether anti-dumping duty is something which is allowed under WTO or not. So the answer is definitely yes. Anti-dumping duty is something that is allowed by WTO if domestic producers and manufacturers are facing what you can call are being hurt by the cheap import. Now, apart from the anti-dumping duty, WTO also has made a provision for a CVD, that is a countervailing duty, if domestic producer are hurt by import of subsidized products. For example, in China, suppose a product is being manufactured at a cheaper cost. Why? Because government is subsidizing the production of that particular product. In that case also CVD, that is a countervailing duty, can be imposed to save the domestic producer of India, let us say. Similarly, safeguard action also is something that is allowed by WTO, which allows a country to temporarily restrict import of certain products of if its domestic industry is injured or threatened with injury due to an import surge. So, not only a duty, but if a huge amount of import is being flowing and if it is having a risk associated with it, that it can completely decimate the domestic manufacturer, then the stoppage, or what you can call as a temporarily suspension of that particular item, can also be done. So, the anti-dumping duty, countervailing duty and safeguard action is all within the rule that is established by the World Trade Organization. Now, we also have to understand the Indo-China relations, especially in the terms of the bilateral trade and economy. So, India has earlier imposed anti-dumping duty on several products, again because to tackle cheap imports from various countries including China. Now, China becomes very significant here because it is the second largest trading partner of India after the United States of America. And more recently, a concern was raised by many of the experts where India is repeatedly facing a problem of widening trade deficit with China. And this is something that is matter of concern. When we talk about trade deficit, it basically refers to the difference in the value of import and export. So, the trade deficit is a situation when in the context of India or from the perspective of India, import from China is many times higher than the export from India to China. And if you look at the exact value in the fiscal year 2024, the trade deficit has widened to a big figure of $85 billion, and if you compare it with the year 2020, it was just $48.6 billion. So, that is what we are talking about, a situation of widening trade deficit where the import from China has risen, but export from India has not risen to that much extent. And if you look at the major product that India is importing from China, most of these pertains to the electronic and electrical sector, such as computer hardware, peripheral, telecom instrument, industrial machinery and all that. So, all these make more than 49 to 45% of total demand that is being made in India. So, in this context, the levying of anti-dumping duty can also be understood as the way how India can try to bridge the trade deficit with the country. So, that is all about this particular video. I hope you got the idea behind the reason or the rationale of imposing anti-dumping duty by any nation on the goods imported from other nations. So, if you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such helpful content. Thank you very much.